Hello and welcome to the first of this two-part video tutorial introducing the CytoSure Interpret software, the powerful and easy to use software package for the analysis of array aCGH data. This video will describe how to import sample information and process the raw data to automatically detect copy number changes in your samples. CytoSure Interpret software has been developed in close collaboration with our customers to provide a flexible solution for labs with a wide variety of analysis requirements. As a result, a number of strategies are available in order to plan and execute interpretation and reporting of CytoSure array data. Strategies are loosely based on the array throughput of a lab and are categorized as high, medium and low array throughput. Users are encouraged to assess each strategy in order to select the one most appropriate for their situation. This video will describe the strategy based on a medium array throughput lab and assumes that a feature extracted file generated by the feature extraction of a TIFF image of a microarray slide is available to be used as the input. In our example today, we're going to process 8 samples loaded onto one CytoSure 8x60K format slide. So let's begin by opening the software using the shortcut icon. Now we can open the batch processing window by selecting Tools and Batch Processing. A new batch should be regarded as being either from multiple slides, a single slide, or a selection of samples from one or multiple slides depending on your circumstances. First, we need to select the output location into which the software will save all output files. It is important to note that for each feature extracted text file that is processed, the software will generate a corresponding .aCGH file that will contain all the sample information and the analysis results. When a case is submitted to the CytoSure database, a link to the .aCGH file will be created and the analysis results for any submitted case can be opened directly from the software in the future. If as original file is selected, the .aCGH file will be saved in the same location as the input text file is located and is usually the preferred option. Next, we have to check that the required protocol is selected in the protocol section. If necessary, click Change in the Protocols box, which will open up the Protocols tab of the Options menu, and the preferred protocol can be selected. Users now have the option to either auto-detect or manually add the files to process. We are going to manually specify the files, so we click on the Add Files button and choose the feature extracted files from the File Explorer. Or you can drag the files from the File Explorer and drop them in the Files to be Processed table. The files chosen are now shown in the table. Next, we have to manually assign the sample information to the feature extracted file. To do this, double-click on the row for the file to open up the Sample Details window. Enter the sample ID into the white text box and double-click the Create New Sample button. The text box background will turn blue to confirm the entry. Clicking on the double chevron button will expand the sample data view to allow us to assign the sample gender and enter any phenotypic information into the free text field. We then repeat this process to assign the reference ID. Finally, the user has the option to complete the experiment details section. It is up to the user how much, if any, of this section is completed, but the information entered here will be saved to the database and can be used in the future for auditing purposes. Select Continue to save the data for this case and repeat the process for the remaining cases. If the user wishes to process samples in the Files to be Processed list using a different analysis protocol, Then they can select which protocol to use by clicking in the protocols field in the files to be processed table, and then selecting the required protocol from the drop-down list. Also, if required, files can be removed from the table by selecting the row or rows and clicking the Remove Files button. As an alternative to manually entering the sample information, and if no data regarding the samples is required or has not been previously added to the database, usually for convenience, for example during a validation, clicking directly on the Process button at the bottom of the window will bring up the Missing Details box. Here, the Automatically Generate New Samples option would be used if you wish the software to randomly generate sample IDs, or you can choose to create new samples that use the slide barcode as a sample ID. Once it has started, processing will continue as long as the CytoSure Interpret software is open, even if the batch processing window is closed. The status of the file processing is shown in the files to be processed table and will show when processing of each of the cases is completed, along with a completion date and time stamp. Once the feature extracted file analysis has been completed, it is possible to load the associated .cgh file into the program directly through the batch processing window by selecting the row of the file or files required and clicking the Load into Workflow button. Alternatively, any previously processed cases can be loaded directly into the software for further analysis, and we will look at this process in more detail in part 2 of this video tutorial. That's all for this video, but please check out our website for further resources and support, or email support@ogt.com.